markers! I'm out of ammo! Come this way! Bitch! Damn it! You get your asses over here, both of you! I'll cover you!
Hi, this is Buster Graham, and you're watching WGS-TV.
You hungry?
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZepXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Bujo. This is going to be the Impact Wrestling review for the week of August 27th, 2014. Now, we open up this week's Impact Wrestling with Kurt Angle trying to address the controversy at the end of the Six Sides of Steel match, when both Eric Young and Bobby Roode both came down at the same time, and he did make the announcement that he will have his official decision later on in the evening, which prompts MVP and Bobby Lashley and Kenny King to come out proclaiming Lashley be the King of New York, and of course Tommy Dreamer, being from New York, decided to disagree with that, which led to Kurt Angle making a New York street fight between Tommy Dreamer and Lashley, which was a really exciting way for the show to open up. I thought it was really entertaining. I can't say anything bad about it. I thought it was a very decent show. Way to open up the show. Of course, they ended it with Lashley hitting the spear on Tommy Dreamer and getting the victory. But I gotta say, it was a positive way to start off Impact Wrestling this week. Up next, we had a #1 contenders match. Madison, Rayne, and Terrell, the winner to go on to challenge for the Knockouts Championship. And overall, again, the Knockouts proving that you can be hot and talented at the exact same time. And Madison, Rayne, and Terrell proved that in a great one-on-one contest. Terrell gets the victory, and I gotta say, they pushing her back to her chance at Gail Kim for the Knockouts Championship as we welcome the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV. Lance, one of the things I was just saying about the Madison, Rayne, Terrell match is, there's proof that you can be hot and talented at the exact same time, and these knockouts are that.
Yeah, definitely. Unlike a certain redheaded diva in another company, these got beauty and skills.
Yep, and that's what makes the TNA knockouts that much better to watch. Following that, and one of the things I love to watch, and Lance, I know you'll agree with me on this as well, the X Division, and including this amazing six-man tag that featured Tigre Uno, Loki, and Crazy Steve taking on Manic, Homicide, and DJZ. And one of the things, Lance, that really blew our minds was that incredible spot with Loki and Manic. Manic looked like he was going for a gut buster from a standing position with the fireman's carry, and Loki kind of matrix moves himself into a double stomp. That was amazing to see that.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was a botch or they planned that, or because somehow they hit a spot just so well. We're not sure.
Yeah, but a botch or not, that thing was executed brilliantly. Up to the finish with Loki hitting the key crusher on Manic to pick up the victory for his team. And then following that, we get the big announcement, and it was kind of expected, to be honest, with the way they were going to go this right now, with Angle being the face director of authority in TNA, and it only makes sense to have Bobby Roode and Eric Young go at it for the #1 contendership on next week's Impact Wrestling. They did cut a good promo to now build up that match, but Lance, I kind of expected Kurt Angle to kind of make that decision to have them kind of duke it out for the #1 contendership.
Yeah, I mean, if it would have been like more than 2 guys, I would have expected a executive panel, like they used to be back when the a certain Russo era, where like 4 guys probably been like Anderson, Gunner, Young, and Rude probably, just to name, and it would have been the whole the Sting thing where. Was that Sting or Hogan who always did that?
I'll have to think about that one. But one thing that did not require thinking was the following matchup: EC3 and Rhino. We saw the breakup of that little faction last week on Hardcore Justice, and leads to this this kind of grudge match between the 2 guys. First off, Rockstar Spud, who dresses you? He kind of looked like he was out there for a wedding or something. I don't even know why he was out there in all white, because Lord knows if we got in trouble, we kind of would have known,
Yeah.
But the matchup kind of ended in a extremely volatile fashion, with EC3 with a steel chair getting himself disqualified and continuing the assault until Rockstar Spud tried to intervene, and it almost looked like EC3 was going to strike Rockstar Spud with the chair, but he ended up stopping and just dropping the chair and walking away. So Rhino gets the victory via disqualification, but there's no way they can just end that storyline right then and there with just that last. I mean, they got to do something more to kind of further this feud. I mean, they broke them up, and they, to me, in my mind, with this matchup, they kind of started them kind of red hot in the feud. They can't just leave it there, can they?
No, I mean the feud's just getting started. I mean, hey, like you said, the organization or the group just broke up last week. It's just getting started.
Yep, exactly. One of the things we were expecting last night was the grand unveiling of the Great Sanada, courtesy of Cowboy James Storm, debuting a new look, new attitude for the Great Sanada. Basically, like a little carbon copy of the Great Muta is what we had. But sometimes a change of pace, a change of look, a change of character can be really refreshing, when a person's gimmick in the wrestling industry really isn't faring too well. Now, Sanada is really talented in the ring. There's no doubt about that. We saw, just how talented and how much potential he really is, but he never was really cemented into a good storyline since he came into the United States from with TNA, becoming the new X Division champion. I think now with them pairing him with Cowboy James Storm in this heel faction that apparently he's trying to start, I think this is, in my mind, Lance, a positive move for Sanada's Sayeda Sanada's career. Because I can see nothing but success in the future for him, as long as they keep up this gimmick, because to me this gimmick could be really golden for him.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, when they first brought him in, it was win the X Division title, then about 15 or 16 matches with Tigre Uno. Yeah, this is what he needs to be cemented as a star in the U.S.
Definitely. He took on Austin Aries in a matchup. The finish of the match came out. It came to James Storm, kind of distracted referee. One of the ropes while Aries was on top. And then next thing you know, we see Sanada, do the green mist. I'd still like to know how they do that. I mean, how does he hide it in his mouth throughout the duration of the match, and then he's just able to spit that stuff out onto Austin Aries? I would like to know how they do that. What exactly, what does it entail them doing? Is it like a capsule that they either hide in their tights or something, or in an armband or something, then they put it in their mouth, or do they hide it in their mouth the entire time for the matchup? I would find that probably extremely difficult to do, especially when you have to breathe when you're during the match. But he hits the green mist and then hits a super kick on Aries and picks up the victory. So good start to the gimmick of the Great Sanada last night. And speaking of that, we get introduced to Chris Melendez last night. You know, a lot of great vignettes. He's a soldier who decided the other, you know, one of his, he had two dreams. That one was to be serve his country, which he did, and the other was to be a professional wrestler. You know, he first got in contact with Mr. Anderson, who turned him over to Team 3D, and who said they trained him for free because of the sacrifices he made in for his country. And we're going to see him debut next week on Impact Wrestling. And one thing I will say about this, Lance, you know, it's one thing to have a great story, which Chris Melendez really is. It's one thing to have that, but there's another thing to be successful in the wrestling industry. Jesse Neal could probably attest to that, you know, because he too had, you know, that great military story background where it was his dream to, you know, serve his country and then become a professional wrestler. You know, it's basically almost a carbon copy of that, except of the fact, you know, it's a different branch of the military that Christopher Melendez was involved in. But, you know, if he can't follow through and be a good professional wrestler, then TNA, I don't want to say wasted our time with it, but it kind of would feel that way, Lance. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Yeah, I mean, they gave him that's a great way to introduce a guy who has a story like his, but it kind of scares me. It makes me wonder, are they going to screw this guy up?
Definitely. You know, they did give him a good introduction. You know, and it was a great video package. Let's just see if they could really work with him following that. But speaking of that, you know, and it was something I said would really highlight Impact Wrestling, and it did, especially for match 1 of the Tag Team Title Series, featuring the champions, the Wolves, the Hardys, and Team 3D. And boy, oh boy, Lance, they did, for having a matchup with like less than 10 minutes into the show. With just 10 minutes left in the show, they were able to captivate the audience and really cap off the night and really stole the show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said last week, when you got people the caliber of Team 3D, the Wolves, and the Hardys, it's going to steal the show.
Definitely. Match 1 goes to Team 3D when they hit the 3D on Davey Richards and getting the victory like that. So right now, Team 3D is up 1 on the other 2 teams. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. You know, in my opinion, they really need to kind of drag this out to its limit. I mean, we saw this once before in TNA history. If you could think back to the tag team series they had with the Motor City Machine Guns and Beer Money, how great that series was back in his day. And if they really want to really replicate that and make it even better, then they have to, you know, at least take this title series to its limit. You know, but anyway, normally we would do Facebook fan reviews, but unfortunately there were no Facebook fan reviews for Impact Wrestling this week. But whenever we get Facebook fan reviews from you guys out there, we will definitely read them out loud here on the review. So, with that being said, it's now time to go into our overall scores and our picks for best and worst match or segment of Impact Wrestling this week. Impact Wrestling, the follow-up to Hardcore Justice from last week, definitely was an interesting show, to say the least. I gotta say, you know, kudos to Low Key and Manic. They pulled off an amazing spot with the counter from the standing fireman's carry into the Gutbuster into that Short Warrior's Way, if you remember the name of Low Key's move. Excuse me. It was kind of halfway expected for Kurt Angle to have Bobby Roode and Eric Young take on each other. But I gotta say, highlight of the night, best match of the night is definitely going to go to the tag team match, the Wolves, the Hardys, and Team 3D. Their ability to, like I said, steal the show with only 10 minutes left in the show to work with is indeed an amazing thing in of itself. But honestly, in my opinion, they need to give these teams more time to work with because, they did an amazing job with just 10 minutes. Imagine if they had more time in the show, what kind of match they could put on that would really just captivate the wrestling audience. Just think about that, guys. If they had maybe 20 minutes or even 30 minutes, that kind of time to really work a match with these three teams, that would really almost be match of the year. If you think about it like that. I'm going to throw out, even though Will's not here, I'm going to throw out an honorable mention to the unveiling of the great Sanada. I think it was a good unveiling. Even a lot of people saying, oh, it's just copying the great Muda. Yeah, it's working for the storyline. And right now, it's working for the kid. It's really working for him. We've already seen him have good in-ring ability, but really hasn't cemented himself as a character in the company, but now as the great Sanada, I feel that they have accomplished that. So that's why I want to throw out an honorable mention for that. Worst segment. It's really tough to say because really there really wasn't anything bad about Impact Wrestling this week. So I really can't say anything. And not only that, the only other reason why I can't say anything bad about Impact Wrestling, there was no sign of Dixie Carter in this week's Impact Wrestling. Now, it's no offense to Miss Carter, but we've said it for a long time. You cannot cut a promo. Sometimes I wonder who's worse at cutting promos, Brock Lesnar, Scott Steiner, or Dixie Carter. Impact Wrestling this week is going to get a 3.5 out of 5. Lance, over to you. What's your overall score in your picks for best and worst match or segment of Impact Wrestling this week?
Overall, I give it a 3.75. Best match, I'd go with the six-man X Division match because I just love that. I've seen a few Triple H six-man tags. It reminded me a lot of that, and I love that style of six-man. Best segment, I'm going to go with the debut of where Bully Ray Anderson introduced that guy. Worst, there really wasn't one.
What was up with Samuel Shaw trying on that uniform that Gunner had?
He wants Gunner to kill him. Because military men do not play that crap.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another segment that actually happened throughout the evening. But anyway, guys, you heard what we had to say about Impact Wrestling this week. What we want to know now is what do you guys, yes, you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, what do you guys have to say about Impact Wrestling this week? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Impact Wrestling? What are your overall scores? We definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about Impact Wrestling this week. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck gonna make cooking videos, bunch of musical equipment reviews, and rants. And if you hadn't subscribed, why hadn't you?
Fans, don't forget to like the Facebook page, facebook.com/WGS-TV. And don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZepXTV Network if you haven't already. So for the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, I'm the WrestleGamer Double B Boudreaux saying thank you very much for watching.